Hi there, my name is Soumya Agrawal and I'm currently an undergraduate student at the University of Manchester. I hope you are doing wonderful. I've been the two-time winner of International Science and Engineering Fair for the consecutive years being 2023 and 2024. My first research project was about the development of a home test biosensor for the detection of polycystic ovarian syndrome using biomarkers present in urine samples. I submitted my research into the category of translational medicines, and after going through various rounds of screening, I finally got a chance to represent India at International Science and Engineering Fair 2023 held in Dallas, Texas. The second year project that I worked on was an extension of the first project where I developed a multiplex biosensor to detect for various different gynecological conditions. I do hold a patent for this as well, and this time ISEF was held in Los Angeles, California, and my project was placed under biomedical engineering. But you might be thinking, what gave me the motivation to research on these topics? So my motivation for both the researches were based on my personal experiences and observations of how these topics remained unaddressed. The major negligence for this topic is because of the stigma and taboos that are associated to it, despite the fact that we live in the 21st century and call ourselves to be the modern Gen Z era. And apart from that, I also felt like breaking through these taboos and stigma was very necessary and call of the moment. But now the question must be that how do we kickstart the journey and get into the depths of research? So to be very honest, it all starts with a spark of interest and willingness to address a problem that's prevailing in the society and is trying to disrupt and trouble the Homo sapiens sapiens, also known as the human beings. So there is a 9-step ladder, and each step is a doorway to interesting facts and thereby helps you frame your entire research journey. The major 9 steps I'll be discussing about are as follows. So the first one is to acknowledge and explore the ideas and issues around you. This stage is also known as developing a problem statement. It can be as small as a microscopic organism to as huge as addressing planetary researchers. And once you've found out a problem that is necessary to be addressed but also aligns with your interest levels, you then move on to develop a specific aim out of this broad topic. And further, this is linked with a hypothesis, which is basically an explanation of a solution or a phenomena based on the existing research and knowledge. So far we covered 3 major steps to start off your research journey. Trust me, finding a problem statement takes a lot of time, so do not be discouraged about it. For me, it took me like 3 months or something. I know that's a quarter of a year. Trust me, it takes time, but it's okay, it's all worth it. Now, following this step is basically a task that kept me awake all night because it was full of facts and knowledge that I was learning and earning. It is also known as a step where you review the peer-reviewed articles and information, go for the scientific articles and journals that aligns with your hypothesis. This is another major research area, a research stage, where each article related to your problem needs to be addressed. But you don't have to address the articles over the years. All you can do is find the articles that are recent and are in alignment with your current research work that you are trying to do. Now, moving on is a step where, based on these researches, you develop a methodology. Now, what does a methodology mean? A methodology is basically where you try to understand how you will be conducting the experiments, how will the research continue, and you also give the readers an understanding of how we can replicate the study you are working on. And based on this methodology, we move to the 6th step, which is experimentation. Now, this is a step full of trials and errors, full of new discoveries, new observations, everything's new. And based on these experimental results, you try to observe what is trying to come through. Now, you must be thinking, why are observations and experiments two different things? Because observation involves critical thinking. Even the tiniest bit of changes in each and every particle is something that is going to impact your research and your entire results based on your aim. Now, after you've done with your observation stage, you move on to talk about conclusions. Now, conclusion basically captures everything that you have done, from the aim to the problem that you addressed to how you tried to solve that problem, what were your methods, how did you conduct your experiment, and also what were the observations or results that you derived out of the experimentation. And last but not the least, it's an extremely underrated but necessary chunk of research journey. This is known as future aspects and social impact, also known as a section in your research paper as discussions. So this is a place where you critically analyze your own research, try to find out loopholes in it, and based on that you give scope of future studies that can be done in the research area that you are addressing. Besides, when you talk about social impact, it tells the researchers and the readers who are reading your article that how your research has impacted positively into the society. Believe me or not, you're not just doing a research to earn awards, but you're also doing it to create an impact and change in the world. But that was seriously a huge discussion on some very serious stuff, right? And it makes it feel so tedious. Trust me, it's all worth it. But you might be asking that belonging to a science background, coming from a science research background, it is hard to believe on anything without evidences. So here I am with my own experiences based on my research to give you evidence that all I've given is actually worth it. So to start off with, ISEF 2023 held in Dallas was an extremely fun experience for me because it was my first time in the United States. We got to take a city tour, went to different universities to visit despite being a high school student, okay? And it was also exciting to be a part of the social events that were held by ISEF because there is a time where you interact with people from different 80 countries that are participating into ISEF, not as competitors, but as mates. You try to learn from them and you try to deliver your knowledge to them. Those discussions are completely worth it. But this is all about ISEF 2023. How about ISEF 2024? Believe me or not, compared to ISEF 2023, 2024 ISEF was extremely mind-boggling. This is because we had DJ night, badge exchange events as a part of our socials. After our judging was done, the entire city gathered just to congratulate us on achieving a milestone of completing the judging round successfully. That is definitely encouraging and worth applauses. But the most exciting and intriguing part about ISEF 2024 was the Universal Studios of Hollywood. Regeneron, the parent company of ISEF, booked the entire Universal Studios of Hollywood just for ISEF students for an entire day. Free rides, free food, free shopping, everything was free, and you can visit the Universal Studios of Hollywood where everyone around you are just ISEF participants. It's so much fun and it's so much excitement and a lot of new experiences. To talk about the judging that happens, so ISEF is spread over 7 days, but out of those 7 days, only 1 day is devoted to judging. Rest of the days is for you to set up your project, set up your stall, go and meet people, talk to them, maybe talk to the person who has come to your stall as a normal person just to visit you and understand your project. Now, on the judging day, each and every judge visits your stall just for 15 minutes. Now, those 15 minutes, my recommendation is to give your presentation for 5 minutes and in the next 10 minutes use those 10 minutes for a Q&A round. This is because when you have a Q&A round, it helps the judge understand that you have a good hold of the topic and your background about that topic, your background knowledge on that topic is definitely strong enough, and it also validates the fact that you are the one who has actually conducted the research and it is not coming from any of the AI tools. It all sounds interesting, it all sounds rewarding, definitely. But how do we reach there and have a chance to represent India among 2,000 different participants from 80 plus countries across the nations, across the world? So it all starts with the completion of your research work. Once you are done, Do not state that your research is completely done, because it's always there a room for development. So once you're done with your initial research work, you apply to IRIS National Fair. It is basically that they give you 21 categories on their official website where you can place your research. The first round applications close at the end of October. It is an online screening, after which 100 participants or 100 projects are selected to represent themselves at the IRIS National Fair. There, 20 projects across different streams are chosen to represent India at the International Science and Engineering Fair. And between the time of IRIS National Fair and ISEF, there are 3 mentoring camps that take place as a part of IRIS to ensure that your project meets the standards of ISEF. So, as I said, room of improvement. There will be professors and doctors and other specialists in your research area who will try their best to maximize the project output and also ensure that your research is enough good to be a part of ISEF. Now, it all sounds tempting, right? So this is your chance to just work on your interested fields, develop a research that helps you be a part of ISEF. RISE has a tracker with recommended journals, awards, and conferences students can apply to. It is a great way to find inspiration and identify the right platforms for your project. You'll find the link in the comments. Now, before I end this video, here are a few tips for the future participants. First and foremost, learn scientific communication. The CEO of Regeneron once said during ISEF, science fairs are made up of 2 components. First component is definitely the scientific information, which makes just 30%. The remaining 70% comes from communication. Even if you have done with your research and you're not able to express it appropriately, you're not able to deliver it properly, your research is completely invalid. So you need to learn how to communicate. Do not just be boring, soaked into research papers. You need to learn how to communicate in the process. And other than that, my research experiences and overall the things that I've been going for, I would say it is an extremely tedious process. You need to learn how to manage your timetables, how to ensure that you're doing your academic work, managing your social life, and at the same time you're able to conduct a research. Last but not the least, I would like to state a quote by Dr. Marie Curie. I was taught that the way of progress was neither swift nor easy. Keep this in mind, and I wish you all the very best for your future. Keep thriving and push through all the boundaries to fly high without any limits. Thank you.